All right, let's talk about Mark Zuckerberg. But not just as some CEO. No, we're going to talk about the guy who was basically the architect of the digital world we're all living in right now. This quote, it just nails it. He didn't just stumble upon the future, he built it. He bought the pieces, coded the whole thing, and then sold it right back to us. This isn't just about a website. It's about a total rewiring of how we all connect. And yeah, he was the guy with the blueprints. So that's the real question, isn't it? How does one guy, a college kid from New York, end up building this digital universe that we all live in? Seriously, how did that happen? Well, let's get into it. Okay, so to really understand this, we've got to go back. And no, not to the Harvard dorm room everyone knows about. We're starting earlier, in his family's home, where you could already see the first sketches of this master plan taking shape. I mean, get this. At 12 years old, 12, he built something called ZuckNet. While most of us were probably trying to beat a video game, he was already building his own private messaging network for his dad's dental office. That's wild. The drive to connect people, it was baked in from day one. And you can see how it just escalates from there, right? ZuckNet was just the start. In high school, he builds this AI music player that was so good, Microsoft and AOL tried to buy it. He said no. Then at Harvard, you get the infamous Face Mash, which got him into a ton of trouble. And then, boom, 2004, the Facebook goes live. The whole game changes. All right, so let's zoom in on that Harvard era. Because the birth of Facebook, it wasn't some quiet, nerdy project. It was explosive. We're talking lawsuits, betrayal, and that classic cutthroat ambition that would become the stuff of Silicon Valley legend. And yeah, you've probably seen the movie. This is that story. The Winklevoss twins claimed he stole their idea for Harvard Connection and just took off. And honestly, that whole mess pretty much defined his reputation early on. A guy who was so laser focused on his goal, he'd run over anyone to get there. So what was the price of that controversy? $65 million. That's what the settlement cost. Now look, in the grand scheme of what Facebook became, that's pocket change. But it's a huge number that really cements the fact that this thing was born in conflict. Okay, so he's got the successful thing. Now, how does he keep it on top? This is where his real genius, or maybe his ruthlessness, kicks in. He develops this simple, brutal strategy: buy or bury. If a competitor pops up, you either buy them or you copy their best feature and crush them. It's not about inventing anymore. It's about total domination. He literally wrote the playbook for a whole generation of tech giants. And you can see this buy or bury playbook in action with his biggest moves. Instagram for $1 billion? Check. Now he owns photo sharing. WhatsApp for a mind-blowing $19 billion? Check. Now he owns private messaging. And then Oculus for $2 billion. That was him looking way, way down the road at virtual reality. See what he's doing? He's not just building a platform. He's buying up the very ways we communicate. But you know how these stories go. Every empire has a weak spot. And around 2016, the walls of Zuckerberg's digital kingdom started to show some serious cracks. The boy genius narrative, it just completely fell apart as his creation turned into ground zero for one global crisis after another. All of a sudden, the whole conversation changed. The thing that was supposed to bring us all together, well, now it's at the center of Russian election interference, the explosion of fake news, and of course, the Cambridge Analytica scandal, where everyone realized their data was being scraped without them even knowing it. That utopian dream of a connected world, it was starting to feel a lot more like a trap. So naturally, Zuck gets hauled in front of Congress to answer for all this. And his performances, they were something else. So stiff, so robotic, that the internet gave him a new nickname, Zuck the Robot. And what's wild is how this robot image was sealed not just by his congressional testimony, but by these super weird personal moments that went viral. Remember the live stream where he kept talking about smoked meats? Or that picture of him surfing with his face just plastered in sunscreen? It was odd. It made him look less like a human being and more like an alien trying and failing to blend in. So his reputation is in tatters. His company is under constant attack. What do? Well, if you're Mark Zuckerberg, you don't just fix the old thing, you try to build a whole new universe. He makes this absolutely massive pivot, a bet so huge it's still kind of hard to wrap your head around. And just like that, in October 2021, Facebook the company was gone. It was rebranded as Meta. The signal couldn't have been clearer. We're not about social media anymore. We're building what comes next. We're building the Metaverse. And the price tag for this gamble? It's astronomical. We're talking tens of billions of dollars getting poured into this metaverse division every single year, with tens of billions in losses to match. He wasn't just investing in an idea, he was betting the entire farm on it. And let's be real, most people were not on board at first. The memes about the legless avatars were everywhere. People thought it was a joke. But Zuckerberg, he didn't flinch, not once. He's absolutely convinced that just like phones replaced computers in our pockets, VR and AR are going to replace our phones. Which brings us pretty much to today, because in the last year or two, we've seen another reinvention, a whole new public persona for Zuck, and a brand new strategy that might be his biggest power play of all. So say goodbye to the old Zuck in the gray t-shirt. The new Zuck is a jujitsu guy. He's raising cattle. He's got this whole cool tech founder vibe going on. It's a total rebrand, trying to shift from awkward robot CEO to visionary builder you'd actually want to hang out with. And the new focus? It's all about AI. But he's playing it differently. Instead of locking up his AI model Llama, he's giving it away, making it open source. Why? It's a classic Zuck move. He's not trying to sell the best AI. He's trying to build the foundation that everyone else's AI is built on. He wants to be the operating system for the entire AI future. You know, when you lay it all out like this, you can really see the different chapters of his career. First, you've got the Harvard kid, the rebel prodigy. Then comes the Valley visionary taking over the world. That's followed by the privacy villain era when everything got really messy. And now, we're in the reality architect phase, where he's trying to build not just a platform, but our entire future. And it all comes back to this incredible irony, doesn't it? Here's the man who built a world based on sharing everything about ourselves, but he lives behind these massive walls, both physically and digitally. He built the ultimate connection machine, but he himself seems to be one of the most disconnected people on the planet. So I guess this is the question we're left with. His first masterpiece, Facebook, connected the globe with all the good and the bad that came with it. Now, as he builds our next reality with the metaverse and the AI that's going to run it all, you have to ask yourself, is he building us a bigger, better world, or is he just building a more sophisticated cage?